How enforce land fees? Enforcing land use fees, particularly when dealing with unauthorized entry or use of private property, can be challenging and depends largely on local property laws, contracts, and legal procedures. If you're attempting to charge or collect land use fees, such as for trespassing or unauthorized use, here are the general steps involved in enforcing these fees. 1. Clearly define the fee in writing. Legal notices and signage. One way to set up the legal foundation for enforcing land use fees is to post clear signage on your property, warning individuals or entities, such as government agents or others, that unauthorized entry will result in a specific fee. The sign should cite relevant federal, state, or local laws that back up your claim, and clearly state the fee amount, e.g., unauthorized entry will result in a $5,000 land use fee. Written agreements, if applicable, in situations where someone is using your land with permission, e.g., for an easement, event, or lease, a written contract or agreement should include clear terms about land use fees. These agreements should specify how much the fee is, how it is calculated, and what actions or events trigger it. 2. Document unauthorized use. Gather evidence. If someone enters your land without permission and you intend to enforce land use fees, you will need to gather strong evidence of the unauthorized use. This could include photographs or video footage showing the trespasser or unauthorized activity on your property, witness statements from neighbors or employees who observed the entry, any documents left by trespassers, e.g., government inspectors leaving notes or papers, record details. Keep a log of the date, time, and circumstances of the unauthorized entry or use, including descriptions of the individuals or entities involved. 3. Issue an invoice or demand letter. Send a formal invoice. If someone violates your property rights by entering or using your land without permission, you should send them a formal invoice or demand letter outlining the land use fee they owe. The letter should include details of the incident, when and how the land was used or trespassed, the legal basis for charging the fee, e.g., citing specific laws or contractual agreements, the exact fee amount and payment terms, e.g., due date, method of payment, a warning of further legal action if the payment is not made. Certified mail. It's best to send this letter via certified mail or another method that provides proof of receipt, so you can show that the trespasser was formally notified of the fee. 4. Negotiation and resolution. Attempt to negotiate. If the other party disputes the fee or refuses to pay, you may have the option to negotiate a resolution. Some disputes over land use fees can be settled out of court through direct discussions, especially if the trespass or use was minor or unintentional. Mediation. If negotiation fails, some cases may benefit from mediation, where a neutral third party helps both sides come to a resolution before taking the matter to court. 5. File a civil lawsuit, if necessary. Legal action. If the trespasser refuses to pay the land use fee and you have clear evidence of the violation, you can take legal action by filing a civil lawsuit for trespassing or breach of contract, depending on the nature of the use. You will seek damages that include the unpaid fee, and possibly additional compensation for any harm done to your property. Trespassing laws. In many places, property owners can file a lawsuit against trespassers for damages. You would need to prove that unauthorized entry occurred and that your posted notices or agreements entitled you to the land use fee. Contract law. If the land use fee is part of a written agreement, such as a lease or easement, the lawsuit would be based on breach of contract. You would argue that the other party violated the agreement by failing to pay the land use fee. Small claims court. For smaller amounts, if the fee is relatively small, e.g., a few $1,000s, you may be able to resolve the dispute in small claims court, which is simpler and less costly than full civil litigation. 6. Enforcing a court judgment. Winning the case. If the court rules in your favor and grants you a judgment for the land use fee, the next step is enforcement. Collecting on a court judgment can sometimes be difficult if the defendant is unwilling to pay voluntarily. Wage garnishment or property lien. Depending on local laws, you may be able to seek wage garnishment or place a lien on the trespasser's property to recover the fee. A lien could prevent them from selling or refinancing their property until the debt is paid. Seizure of assets. In more extreme cases, You may also be able to request that certain assets of the trespasser be seized to satisfy the judgment. 7. Prevent future issues. Continue to post clear signage. Make sure your property continues to be well marked with signs warning about land use fees and legal consequences for unauthorized entry. Regularly inspect your property to ensure these notices are visible and intact. Legal consultation. Work with an attorney to ensure your land use fee policies and posted notices comply with local laws and property regulations. This will strengthen your legal position if any future issues arise. Challenges to enforcing land use fees. Disputes over validity. Trespassers may challenge the validity of the land use fee in court, arguing that the fee is excessive, that they didn't see the posted sign, or that the law does not support the fee. Proving the violation. If there is little or no evidence of the unauthorized use, it may be difficult to enforce the fee. Enforcing collection. Even if you win a judgment, collecting the fee can be a challenge, especially if the defendant doesn't have sufficient assets or is unwilling to pay. Conclusion. Enforcing land use fees requires clear legal foundations, proper documentation, and often legal action. Make sure you have clear signage or contractual agreements in place and gather evidence if unauthorized use occurs. If negotiation fails, legal action through a civil lawsuit may be necessary, but enforcing a court judgment can sometimes be a lengthy process. Consulting with a property or real estate attorney can help ensure your land use fees are enforceable and legally sound.